Holosky Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Steven.
And I'm Kyle.
And first things first today.
Oh, yes.
I'm tired as fuck, so I'm going to drink this monster.
I'm going to have one too.
Next, thanks for tuning in to come and hang out with us today. Thanks for telling all your weird friends.
It is much appreciated.
Kyle's going to take us back, round 3.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
To the Dulce dumb bass.
I'm excited to see where the conversation goes with this one.
It's going to probably be weird.
I think it's going to be interesting.
But first, we got to get through the business and wrap that up. So, check us out at all our social medias. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Come and hang out. Leave cool shit. Leave weird shit. Just be social. Continue this cool-ass community you guys are putting together surrounding us. It's just dope as hell.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome.
TikTok is kind of starting to take off. I post a bunch of videos over there that are kind of fun. So you can come and hang out with us there.
Going to be TikTok famous.
Hell yeah. If you've got a paranormal experience you'd like to share and have us feature in a future episode, Kyle's going to tell you how to do it.
You can call our phone number and leave a message or text it or call it whenever we get ready to record and do an interview, but it's going to be 1-618-556-0837, or you can write your story out in an email, shoot it over to the email, or you can record yourself on your smartphones or any other device. You can record a video of yourself, anything you want, put it in an email, shoot it over to the email, which is going to be holoskypodcast@gmail.com.
If you'd like to support the show, the first thing you can do, the most important thing you can do, is share us on social media, share us with all your friends, anybody that listens to the podcast, weird shit, anybody that's into paranormal. Say, yo, you need to listen to these guys because they're pretty sick.
Yeah, I appreciate that. There's a lot of people on Instagram tagging us in other people's shit. There's actually another podcast called The Bump Podcast, and that dude is always tagging us and shit, always reposting us, all types of shit. So shout out to that dude.
Hell yeah,
thanks for all the support, homie. I've been meaning to shout you out for a minute, and that's the cool thing is the dude he's never asked us for shit. He just does it on his own, which is super dope. So thank you again. I see you, we talk a little bit here and there on the Instagram, but it's cool.
We have a Patreon that you guys can check out. Look through it, see if there's a tier you'd like. Sign up and subscribe. Get some stickers, some extra content. There's a tier for t-shirts, all kinds of cool shit over there. We do have I sent a whole nother shipment of stickers out this last week. People, by the time this episode gets out, people should be getting them. Kyle's getting ready to send a whole
bunch of shirts
giant plethora of shirts. We've had people asking for regular merch that you can buy. We are in the process of making it.
Yeah.
We're trying to get a store set up. That way it's easy for you guys. Just click, pay, get.
Yep.
We're working on it, we promise.
Yeah, 'cause even with Patreon, it's getting hard keeping everybody organized and keep shipping shit, and because that's not what I'm really set up to do.
Same.
Because my wife helps me with it. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to do it. But I guess you got to measure or weigh it, and then print out labels and do all this other crazy shit. So shout out to Mama. Thanks for helping. I appreciate you. But yeah, like Steve said, we're in the works with this company. They're gonna be able to do all types of shit for us, shirts, and I peeped a glass cup, which I feel like it'd be cool just to have a glass cup with our name on it. I don't know why. I just think it's hella cool.
King shit.
But the artist over there has been making posters and shit, which you've seen the Mothman one, which is super dope.
I'll probably share it.
Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, that should be coming here soon, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We also have a Venmo. If you guys like to throw some change in there for a monster, you can do that. Just search up the Holosky Podcast and all these, and you'll get to our page eventually. So, what else? Oh, yeah. Wherever you listen to your podcasts at, your podcatcher, if you want to hop over there and leave us a 5-star rating and review, that helps us out tremendously. Helps us become a little more seen in the world of creepy podcasts. And if you leave us a 5-star rating and review, I'll gladly shout you out. Like today's. We've got so many. You guys are doing so rad, leaving us ratings and reviews.
So we're pretty much famous at this point.
I'm still going through February's
Cool.
reviews.
That's awesome.
So this is from February 11th. This is my new favorite from Fire 1523. 5 stars. Found you through the confessionals, and I'm hooked. Very well done. Well, Fire 1523, we're glad that we can get you hooked on our podcast.
Sick.
I was going to go somewhere with that. My mind just said, no, you're not. No, you're not.
That's awesome.
I'm going to kind of double down on the next move here. Another way that you can reach us is via the snail mail.
Getting it.
If you guys would like to do that, our post office box is P.O. Box 145, Fieldon, Illinois, Fieldon, 62031. If you'd like to send us some cool shit, snail mail's still dope.
Hell yeah, we'll take it.
That is going to lead into our listener experience. It's kind of a follow-up from our friend Allie in South Carolina via snail mail. Going to read this. It says, "Hey, Stephen and Kyle, just want to say thank you for reading my experience on your amazing podcast. My husband recalled later that after I'd seen The Double, that I had been sleep talking again, saying, 'Who are you? Who are you?' over and over. Yeah, I freaked him out. You also mentioned something I hadn't thought of regarding the grinning man I experienced. I never encountered it outside of the house in Arizona, and I never felt sleep paralysis outside of the house as well. Honestly creepy, but I'm glad it hasn't followed me. I tried to draw a picture, just think terrifying though. You mentioned an episode about the grinning man, so I listened to it. No suit, and it's not broad. It's freaky though. Well, here's cold hard cash for your monster obsession. Could you surprise me with a sticker, Biggie? That would be sweet. Keep up the good work, or don't. Whatever makes you happy. Best, Allie from South Carolina."
Oh, I love it.
Well, Allie, first off, thank you so much for your monster donation.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That is dope. Also, I can send you a picture of Biggie as long as you're talking about Bigfoot and not Biggie Smalls, because I feel like there'll probably be some copyright infringement there, but I might be able to hook you up. I might be able to do something.
A little bit.
We will gladly have some stickers coming your way. We appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
And considering it was confined just to the one geographical location,
It's fucking weird.
yeah, it's almost like it is an entity tied to the house.
Dude, that's where I would be at, because like you hear people with sleep paralysis that you don't hear them talk about it. At least I haven't heard. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I haven't heard of people saying it was tied to a location.
No, I feel like it's something that follows you more so throughout your whole life. Like, it's,
Right. Yeah.
it's with you. You're not where it is.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Did anything else weird happen inside the house? I don't know if we asked you that last time or if you had referred to it, but were there any like poltergeist activity? Just shit that would corroborate this being an entity within the walls of that house.
I wonder if
there's any history to the house.
It makes me wonder if the grinning man has an MO like this. Like if this is something like people who have encounters with the grinning man, if they also may experience a bout of sleep paralysis. You know what I mean? Like this is his secret power, so to speak. You know?
I don't know.
I haven't thought about looking into it like that.
I don't, because there are a lot of entities tied with sleep paralysis.
Yeah, usually it's like a night hag or something like that.
Shadow people. I mean, it very
But
well
then,
could be.
yeah, I mean, yeah, the possibilities are endless, and we don't fully understand what sleep paralysis is. I have of the believer that it's probably slightly more paranormal in nature. Not to say that our bodies and brains can't
manifest.
Yeah, like play tricks on us and work in mysterious ways. I believe that it absolutely can happen. But some of this shit sounds terrifying to begin with. And then the fact that it amazes me with dreams too, how like your dream can completely fabricate a being or a place that in your waking life you would never even begin to imagine. You know what I mean? Like it's weird how it can just kind of pull 180 on you.
Yeah.
And do something like that.
I don't know. But thanks for checking back in with us.
Yeah, and thanks for the letter.
Following up. Yeah, the letter's dope. It's so
Appreciate
it's
it.
so awesome getting physical
It's weird.
mail.
It's weird.
And yeah, I'll definitely have you some stickers on the way. And I posted your creepy ass Grinning Man sketch to the Facebook page, so everybody go over there and check it out.
I would definitely be creeped the fuck out if that was in my room.
Yeah, I got it hanging on the tack board. So
I don't like his fucking eyes.
you made the tack board. I don't like that he's fucking grinning.
Yeah, that sucks too. Looks
So
like he's getting ready to turn your night lamp on.
yeah, it didn't work in her OG story. The light wouldn't turn on.
Sucker.
He probably took the bulb out.
Probably. He's probably like, haha, watch this.
What a dick.
Yeah. That's to say the least.
But yeah,
Appreciate you.
we do. So for anybody that wants to send us some physical mail, hit up that P.O. box.
Yeah, let's go.
Word.
Let's get fucking weird.
All right, let's go back to this underground base, Kyle.
Dude, I'm stoked. This got really interesting really fast.
If you guys hear stuff in the background, it is storming like crazy here tonight.
Yeah,
so there's going to be some thunder. It might be portals opening to other dimensions. I don't know.
I hope so.
Same.
So anyways, yeah, we're going to pick back up at Dulce again. You know, we covered the town a little bit. We covered Paul Benowitz a little bit. And this was the whole draw to the story for me. It was Phil Schnieders and his story. So if you're remotely informed on this situation, Phil has what can only be described as some pretty wild claims that actually took place at Dulce in the creation of this quote-unquote underground base. But a little bit to Phil's past, which may lead some credence to Phil himself. And I did not know any of this, but Phil's father actually was in the military. He worked on top secret shit. His father was also a master machinist and also was a captain of a German U-boat. So you all see where this is going. Presumably, his father was drafted through paperclip, I believe, when they caught a bunch of smart Nazis and they divvied them up against the, among the superpowers and started creating shit, right? So
It's so crazy how all this shit just kind of meshes itself together.
isn't it? It's utterly bizarre. But in my opinion, it kind of lends a little bit of credibility to Phil because during Phil's lectures, he would keep a handful of documents on him. Now, these documents were supposedly from his father that he obtained after his father had passed away. He went going through his father's belongings, found, I don't know if it was a filing cabinet or whatever the fuck it was, but he started rooting through it and he started finding all these top secret documents. They apparently contain an autopsy report, get this, on one of the members from the motherfucking Philadelphia experiment.
What?
Swear to God. So that implies that Phil's father actually took part in the Philadelphia experiment. Crazy. So in one of these letters,
I want to see the autopsy.
in one of these letters, it even gets input from J. Edgar Hoover. And he said that every crew member from this experiment has to go through a psychological evaluation. Oscar, which is Phil's dad, also reports that 7 of the members actually escaped from the psych ward where Oscar was holding them. So Oscar had them in a psych ward, was, for lack of better words, he was running experiments on them and getting research out of them. And then 7 of them ended up
He wasn't
escaping.
holding them very fucking good if some
Right.
of them got away.
In one of these letters, Oscar also demands that the ships, everyone on board the ship, and everything from the experiment must be placed under quarantine until further notice. He also states in this letter, consider all things involving this be placed above secret. Refer to ARH-9 Project Blue Sky. I've never even heard of Project Blue
I'm
Sky.
about to Google it. Let's see what misinformation I can find.
I meant to do it, but I forgot.
Hell yeah.
So I'll carry on for a little bit until Steve pulls that up. His father also worked with the United States Navy. He worked in nuclear medicine and also helped design the first nuclear submarine. So dude was obviously ridiculously smart. Apparently, Phil was employed through Morrison Knudsen to help drill 4 large holes. Now this is actually going to Dulce and the beginning of what is now known as the Dulce DUM, the Deep Underground Military Base. So, like I said, apparently Phil got employed through a Morrison Knudsen to help drill 4 large holes. They wanted Phil, after these holes got drilled, they wanted Phil to descend down into the holes, get soil samples, check out the rocks, and basically get an idea of what they were dealing with and what they would have to invest in equipment to keep digging. When arriving at the location, Phil was put on edge immediately because there was a high presence of military personnel, namely Green Berets and Special Forces. And those dudes don't fuck around. Like, that's not your average, hey, we need a military patrol in this area. This is dudes who are battle seasoned. They fuck shit up.
Ready to roll.
Yeah, like, and they know what they're doing. So after drilling, Phil drops down into one of these holes. Here's his quote. I shot 2 of them. At that time, there were 30 people down there. About 40 more came down after this all started. All of them were killed. We had surprised a whole underground base of existing aliens. Later, we found out that they had been living on our planet for a long time, perhaps millions of years. This could explain a lot of what is behind the theory of ancient astronauts.
So what was their first purpose for drilling the holes?
Basically to start the base itself.
To build the base. But the aliens were already down there?
Yeah. They
had a base of their own?
Like, yeah, pretty much. So these guys drilled into like a cavern or something.
An underground layer.
And then Phil goes down there to check out the soil samples, get rock composition. And like I said, basically just to see what they're dealing with and where they need to go or what they need to do to proceed in drilling. I don't even know at this point. I would imagine not. They probably just told him, hey, we're drilling these 4 holes. We need you to come in, take soil, because he worked in the rock field, basically, whatever you want to call that. But they probably just told him, hey, we're drilling these holes. We need you to come in, check out the soil samples and the rocks and everything to give us input on where we need to go from here. So he's like, all right, whatever, cool.
They're like, psych, getting this hole full of aliens.
Right.
So I tried to look up Project Blue Sky, and I cannot find anything on it. There is a Project Blue Sky, but it doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about here.
I'll have to try to hunt it down then.
They talk about Blue Beam. They talk about
Blue
Book.
Yeah.
But Blue Sky is some kind of booster for technology-enabled educational institutions for kids. And
Interesting.
yeah, and probably not the Blue Sky we're looking for.
Probably not, but if it's out there, I'll try to find it.
Copy that.
Anyways, during Phil's encounter, a tall gray made a movement with his hand. So, yeah, it was definitely the middle finger. So at this point, like the way I envision it is Phil's down there. I believe he sees these grays. He pulls his sidearm, fires, and all of a sudden there's this tall gray, and he makes this movement with his hand over his chest. And then apparently it shot a fucking laser out, which hit Phil in the rib cage, and it also cut off several of his fingers.
What?
And it is re-verified that later on Phil was actually missing fingers. legitimately.
If our buddy John Edmonds taught us anything, that you cannot kill grays with the sidearm. You can only kill grays with.
Well, these were tall
samurai
grays
sword.
too, though. These were different grays.
Could be different species.
Could be. So, from this encounter itself, 66 humans died. Only Phil and 2 other men made it out. For over a year after this, Phil had to have radiation isolation therapy.
The hell?
Which is fucking crazy.
There's got to be information. There's got to be autopsies or some shit.
Well, I mean, you're dealing with the government and cover-ups here.
Well, yeah, that's true. Radiation isolation therapy?
So, as you can imagine, after this experience, Phil becomes obsessed with basically deep underground military bases. Because I'm assuming somewhere throughout his little excursion here, it got explained to him what was actually fucking going on. Or maybe it was explained to him from the beginning. I'm pretty unclear on that. But either way, it is an extraordinary story. But during his research, he apparently found that there are over 1,477 of these types of bases across the planet. 129 of them reside in the United States. And apparently, according to Phil, they consume upwards of 25% of the entire United States budget. They say that many aliens have been captured in various ways and are used as guinea pigs there at the Dulce base itself. They also say that aliens also conduct experiments on humans and animals there. The aliens also use human and animal DNA to create humanoids. So there's that. This is just a giant cesspool of mixing shit.
Yeah, like chimeras almost.
Yeah. Now, apparently, this is kind of interesting, and I would be curious to talk to or see people in the Dulce area, because apparently with each of these bases, these deep underground bases, they all have, which everyone would assume they have their own ID cards, right? But each of these bases have a very specific symbol on the ID cards. Now, apparently, the Dulce base used a triangle with 3 lateral lines. The triangle point was actually pointing down. So it'd be an inverted triangle with 3 lateral lines. According to many sources that I have found, there are apparently at least, it is rumored that there are 7 floors to this base. Some people actually speculate there could very well be more, but nobody has ever been able to get past that. And let me tell you, you're about to go on a fucking ride, because this gets weird.
Good.
So there's 7 floors of this base, right? Apparently, the aliens use levels 5 through 7. Now, if you were to approach the base or be invited onto the base, the guards apparently wear jumpsuits with the symbol on them. So they have jumpsuits with that triangle and the 3 lateral lines on it. And they apparently use something called a flash gun, which works on humans and aliens. They also have an ID card that has the Dulce symbol right above their ID photo. Now, here's something that I found rather alarming at first, because my brain started to go a way different route here, but I think it gets clarified for me. So you've got the first level, which is kind of like your security check-in and stuff like that. Then any level after the second level, so if you're going to level 3, you have to strip completely naked and get weighed. Then you're given a uniform, and the visitors are apparently given an off-white color uniform. And in front of all of the sensitive areas in the base, you have to weigh yourself when you enter and exit the room. And if your weight does not match what you weighed in the beginning, you're immediately taken by the guards.
To where?
Don't know. It didn't say. But and like initially, I know it's fucking crazy, but initially my brain was like, what the fuck are in them rooms that is going to make somebody's weight change? Like,
oh, my first thought was somebody who's stealing some shit.
that's what it's actually getting at, but my brain was like,
you're like, what if something is trying to leave with them?
that's where my brain went.
I gotcha. Because I'm like, what? I'm like, who would be dumb enough to try to steal?
Yeah, and apparently that is why they religiously weigh people upon entry and exit, because they want, the same. They don't want you stealing shit because there's apparently crazy shit here.
Dude, I'm not to change the subject, but now you got me on this dumbs thing. I found a map of supposed tunnels to bases in the American Southwest.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Mounds Park, Arizona, rest stop. Reported by such and such, also verified by these two other people who say they were almost arrested by guards asking what the hell they were doing there.
Well, it's a rest stop. We're
at
resting.
the rest stop.
I mean, if you think about it, that's pretty fucking good cover.
The original poster told me she used to work at a highway rest area known as Mounds, or Munds, M-U-N-D, not Mounds. Munds Park. One day, military trucks and men pulled in and pretty much said, okay, thanks for working here. We're closing this place. See you later. They spent years expanding the site and then left. The rest stop is still closed to any traffic, and the entrance and exit road to it from the highway has been ripped up. Another person I know in the area said there are unmarked military trucks, vehicles parked in the back now. The place is huge compared to what it was and looks quite deserted in spite of the construction.
Now I want to go.
But dude, if anybody lives near Munds Park, Arizona, I mean, don't go out there and get yourself arrested, but let's try to find this place.
Yeah, I'm down. That would be fucking... Well, like I just said, it's actually pretty fucking smart cover. It
says, here's a quote. I live 20 miles out of Flagstaff, Arizona. There's a rest area half a mile away. When the government was building this rest area, it took almost 3.5 years to complete, and there were tall fences with dark canvas-like tarps all the way around the area so no one could see what was going on. There was also big army-looking trucks pulling in and out all night, every night. Everyone in Munds Park could hear them coming and going. Now the government is closing the rest area for good. I'm told the fences will be put back up. I would bet my life on the fact that something is under this rest area. You see, when I work at Christensen, the name of the I worked at Christensen, name of rest area, up until a week ago.
That's weird, dude.
That is weird.
But it's great cover, because if it was just a tunnel, you could have unmarked people go there and then say there's like a janitor's closet that's locked. Nobody would think nothing. Nobody'd have a fucking clue.
And this says tunnels to... So that was 3, Munds Park, Arizona. There's another one in Page, Arizona that tunnels itself to Area 51, Dulce Base, New Mexico.
I wouldn't doubt it. And they theorize that all these underground bases and shit, they do have some form of like extremely fast transport that gets them around.
Damn. Like I just stumbled on that because I was looking for a map.
I found an entire list of
so crazy
apparent dumbs in the United States. And I sent you a picture of ones that are over in Missouri that aren't too far from us.
Good, let's go.
I'm down. Without question, I'm down. I would go in a heartbeat.
Let's go right now.
Okay.
Episode's over. See you never.
See ya.
Sorry, I got sidetracked.
No, it's good. It's good. So, resuming where we left off, during the construction of the facility, now apparently the aliens helped with design and materials for the facility itself. Many of the things there were a form of technology that the workers didn't even understand. Apparently, it was all magnetics. The elevators had no cables. There was nothing there that wasn't controlled by some type of a magnetic style system.
Oh, that would explain the super fast travel.
Yeah.
Because those new high-speed rails,
they
go 200 plus miles an hour.
Right.
Are all
there you go.
push-pull magnetics, I think.
Right there.
Electromagnetics.
And, this wasn't set anywhere in the current future, so maybe we finally figured it out. But back then, those guys wouldn't have a fucking clue. The aliens would just been like, yo, set it up like this, and it's going to work really good. And you're like, okay. Well, I mean, you guys are obviously smarter than us. Why not?
Talks about one in the Grand Canyon where people find a race of ant people.
Oh, fuck that.
Not to be confused with the sinister mantis people.
And fuck them
people.
too.
Which is
I'm not doing no Starship Troopers.
Crazy as fuck. I was scrolling through YouTube looking for information, and they were talking about this one desert. I can't fucking remember where it is, but the sand is comprised of, like, I don't know, something weird, like glass or some shit.
Yeah.
And it's 48,000 square miles, and whatever this is comprised of is not found anywhere in that geographical location. But the legend is that there is an underground city, and they referred to the beings living under there as ant people.
Oh, so it's like an ant mound.
And exactly, to hollow out the earth. They're just pushing it out.
Solved it.
It has nothing to do with this story, but I just saw that, and it made my brain circle around, and synchronicities abound.
Good. Yeah, so
now I want to go to the ant desert.
I'll go. It'd suck being in the desert, but I would go. So here's an actual layout of the 7 floors. So level 1, security and communications. Level 2 is human staff housing. Level 3 is execs and labs. Level 4 is where things start to get a little fucking interesting. Level 4 is studies and research, which include some very interesting and very familiar topics, such as human aura, hypnosis, telepathy, those types of things, which I think I go on in a little more detail in a minute. But level 5 is the alien housing.
How would you like to live 2 floors above the aliens?
Fuck no, because here we go. Here's where it pops off. Level 6, which is also nicknamed as the Nightmare Hall.
Oh.
Here is where there are genetic experiment laboratories. Apparently, a researcher has stepped forward and says the experiments that take place here are fucking terrifying. There are literally 3-legged humans, half human, half octopus, all types of bizarre combinations.
Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Great.
Like a legit real life Doc Ock.
Why?
It's like no, I'm not going to say that.
Why?
I was going to say mermaid puss.
We have derailed.
That's terrifying.
And there's terrifying. This whole episode's making my brain not even have anything to do with the episode. Because there's a theory that the octopi aren't even from this planet.
Yeah, I know. It would make perfect sense because they're
that's what I'm
fucking crazy.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah,
merge the two.
The 7th,
God damn it.
Which here's the link to Benowitz and his claim. Remember when he was working with that lady, she claimed that she saw the vats of humans and this, that, and the other.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Level 7, heads, embryos, human bodies. They are preserved in various solutions. There are rows and rows and rows of cold-kept human mixtures, large storage containers for humanoid embryos at varying stages of development. There is even people in cages who are 90% of the time sedated, but when they're not, there are some that are actually in there screaming for help.
Oh, man.
Then
they said that since I worked full-time, I wouldn't be able to go to school. But with WGU, I was able to do my classes on my own time and take all my tests online when it suited me best. Learn more at wgu.edu.
You have this other claim that the aliens are conducting what's known as soul scalping. They have the ability to remove a human soul and place it, quote unquote, elsewhere. Then they have an empty vessel, so to speak. So this is also referred to as, and I know we've talked about this before, but this is referred to as a walk-in. which we have heard, and there are apparently 2 types of walk-ins, where an alien can actually possess a living human body or a dead person. So, I guess in this soul scalping experiment, when a person doesn't have their soul anymore, they're almost essentially dead. They have the vessel is still working, but the essence of the person is gone.
Just a flesh prison.
That's all it is. And they have a suit that they can wear and do whatever the hell they do, I guess.
That's weird.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Apparently, there is a shuttle in this area that connects them to the Los Alamos labs.
Oh.
So there you go.
Which is also probably connected underground.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has a shuttle underground that connects to the Los Alamos labs. Then you have another guy that comes forward, and they say that his name is Thomas Costello. He was apparently a security officer at the base and verifies all of Phil's claims. He also leaks a photo of human bodies in these vats of whatever the fuck it is, water, fluid, whatever. After this, him and his family apparently disappear.
Of course.
Well, check this out. This is where I find it's fucking interesting to me anyways, because after that photo leaked, the internet got a hold of it, right? And the internet starts doing what the internet does best. And they actually figured out that this photo was fake. It came from a film that our homeboy Arnold Schwarzenegger was in called Sixth Day. And it is the exact picture from a scene in that movie of humans inside these vats. But all this guy did was make it a black and white photo versus the color photo. But here's what I find interesting. We talk about movies that in a roundabout way, they're supposedly conforming us to what's actually happening, getting us ready.
Yeah.
I
was just thinking the same thing.
Another thing that I find more compelling is let's go back and look at Paul Benowitz and what happens to him. Paul ends up getting himself a disinformation agent, which in theory could be why they introduced this Thomas Costello, because he has this whole fucking elaborate backstory, has the proof, puts it out there, and they know that odds are the internet's going to get that picture and run with it, and they link it that it's all fucking fake. Well, this dude just verified Phil's claims. So now in people's minds, well, maybe Phil's a fucking liar too. We went ahead and discredited this guy who has linked himself to this guy. Maybe it's all fucking made up now. So it's a perfect disinformation campaign, in my opinion. Not saying that's how it played out, but that's where my mind went with it.
It's crazy how much we can question, just by having a tincture of untruth planted there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Without question. It's fucking bizarre. Now, I stumbled on this some fucking weirder stuff, in my opinion. But so with this whole story, with all of it, a person would naturally ask, why would any of this even be possible? Well, apparently centuries ago, surface people, some would even suggest the quote-unquote Illuminati, entered into a pact with an alien nation hidden within the earth, which we've heard about many of species living within the earth.
Ant people,
all types of shit.
Mantis people.
Now, you had that from fucking centuries ago. Then apparently in 1933, the United States agreed to trade animals and humans in exchange for technology, which a lot of people theorize is how all of a sudden in America's history, our technology just fucking blasted out of here. We went from basically having dog shit to having awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Overnight, for lack of better words. And this is where a lot of people are thinking that it came from. It's also rumored that we are at it again as far as exchanging people and that type of shit for more technology. But this time, the new focus is on biotech, which is ironic considering current times. So you have Elon Musk working on, was it Neuralink or whatever? He's putting tech inside people's fucking heads.
Yeah.
Like this is the new frontier where a lot of these smart people are going. They're trying to merge us with machine. Then you have all this fucking crazy disclosure, quote unquote, coming, which we got today, and that was not anything which we can. It's not surprising to say the least.
I figured it was gonna be a just dud.
And it was. I found most of this information here on alteredimensions.net, and it talks about how in the 50s the Greys began taking large numbers of humans. The 60s the rate sped up, and they began getting careless because they really just didn't give a shit. By the 80s, the government realized there was no defense against the Greys, so programs were enacted to prepare the public for open contact with non-human alien beings. Now, apparently, the Greys and the Reptoids are in league with each other, but they're not really getting along anymore. The Greys' only known enemy is the reptilian race, and they are currently on their way to Earth inside what they would call a planetoid, whatever the fuck that is. But you sprinkle that with today's shit, and then we have all this fucking disclosure coming. You've got militaries across the planet beefing up their security and defenses. I mean, you have China literally building islands and putting bases on them. Not to say that that isn't for other reasons, but it's just kind of ironic. Apparently, at the Dulce base location, they've experimented with mind control implants, such as bio-psi units, ELF devices, which are apparently capable of altering your mood, sleep, heartbeat, those types of things. And this page claims that even after Dulce was fucking with all this stuff, DARPA actually ends up adopting this tech and is currently using this tech to control people, which is also relatively ironic because I just got, not too long ago, I listened to Conspiracy Unlimited, and he had people on there as a 4-part deal where they were having targeted people come on, where they think that somebody is fucking with their lives using this type of equipment. Among these things, they also research, like I said earlier, the human aura, as well as dreams, hypnosis, telepathy, and so on, which is familiar right there. You know, that could revert to what Egris is looking for.
For sure. For sure.
It's fucking weird, dude. It's weird. So I guess in with some of this stuff, what they would do is they would lower your heartbeat, and they can do this with a deep sleep delta waves. Then they induce a static shock, and then they're able to reprogram you via a brain computer link. They can introduce data and programmed reactions to certain things. And then it goes on to say that the Dulce base is actually ran by a board of people. Among them are John Harrington. There is a Jim Baker, which is apparently the CIA link, House Speaker Jim Wright, and most of their meetings are held in Denver and Taos, New Mexico. This article goes on to warn about how knowing this type of information is actually dangerous, and you should start to watch out for for agents appearing in your life, etc., etc.
Great.
Then it goes on to say,
Just what I need.
right. Then it goes on to say that more detailed information will be released in the near future, such as photos, video, documents, etc., etc. So when I read that section, I'm like, well, let's go see when this article was posted. This article was published August 5th of 2019. Now, I'm not sure. I tried looking it up. I couldn't find it. But I'm not sure when the United States government decided to come out and give us what they released today, which everybody thought was going to be bigger, but what ended up not. I just kind of find that ironic that something, 2 years ago, almost exactly, says, hey, here in the near future, there's going to be a lot more disclosure.
Then all of a
It's
sudden,
kind of fucking weird, which we had videos, pictures, people seeing shit, documents. They had the big data dump that you've been looking through.
Yeah.
So I just found it ironic, kind of a curious little link there. But
Because I'd read somewhere before, I can't remember where, that there's supposed to be massive major disclosure
I can see it.
by August of 2021.
Well, if the fucking reptilians are coming here in a planetoid,
And dude, it's so weird that I'm stumbling onto all the same shit that you are,
it's weird.
because I saw another video talking about, maybe it's not a video. Someone recommended, let me find it. Someone recommended a book to me on Facebook. And in this book, they talk about this exact same thing that's going on. The exact same thing that's going on. Let me see if I can find the book, and then I'll let you guys know. Bear with me, my internet's super slow. Also, if you hear any weird sound artifacts in the background, my kids are home and they're having a good time, so they got some friends over. All right, so never mind. This is probably not what I was thinking of. I did get a dope book suggestion in Facebook. But anyway, what I was thinking was I was listening to this YouTube video, I guess, where I heard it, but they were talking about the vaccine and all this other shit, and that they're putting gray DNA into the human population. That way, when the reptilians come to wipe out the grays, they'll wipe out everything with any gray DNA as well.
Well, okay.
Which is weird that you talked about the reptilians and the grays being
Enemies.
And
Dude, that's fucking weird.
that popped up.
But it's not the first time they've thrown that we've heard that, where the vaccine has something to do with off-world entities, so to speak.
Well, if it is true, I'm gonna have to fight reptilians. So
I'll fight them with you.
Hell yeah.
I'm not vaxxed, so they won't go for me. You'll be my bait. Basically.
I did look up the Munns Park rest area,
Yeah.
and it is deserted. It's crazy that
So
they spent almost
that's legit.
4 years building this thing just to shut it down and let it go completely unused. I'm Google mapping it right now.
It is fucking weird.
Like, it is 3 years to build 3 little outbuildings. Almost 4 years.
Yeah, it shouldn't take long at all.
No, it's... If my computer worked worth a shit.
No, we got shitty weather moving in, so... The intro
Look at this.
webs. Yeah, that is 3 little bitty fucking buildings.
3 years, and then they fenced it up and tarped it off to put these few little buildings here?
And they really did fence it, too.
Yeah.
There's definitely a fence there. Huh.
Oh, come on and load, you piece of garbage. Shout out to Frontier Internet for sucking.
So,
Anyway.
yeah.
I got a lot of silence in that last little piece.
That's all right. I'll cut it out. So back to Phil. And we started with Phil. We're going to end with Phil. Well, as I kind of stated, Phil was always going on these lectures and kind of trying to spread the truth. Unfortunately, on January 17th, 1996, Phil was found dead in his apartment. When the body was found, he had been dead for a little bit, apparently, and they ended up ruling it a suicide. But apparently, they said his death was caused by poor blood flow to the brain, which could also be known as a stroke. So Cynthia...
How can you suicide yourself as a stroke?
Right. Cynthia would be his ex-wife at the time, goes back to Phil's apartment and starts kind of looking around, and she starts to notice things. She starts to notice that things are missing. And it wasn't his quote-unquote valuable goods, because he had jewelry in there, gold in there, which the gold he had found through his rock job. He had money, firearms, etc. None of that was touched. But what was missing...
Here we go.
All of his research and pictures on aliens, all of his lecture notes, all of his quote-unquote alien medals, everything that he had, even his father's documents, everything he had was gone. So a day later, Cynthia gets a call from the Clackamas County detectives informing her that the undertaker found something around Phil's neck. She said that what had happened was Phil took his catheter hose, wrapped it 3 times around his neck, and half knotted it in the front. That's how he killed himself. What? Yeah. Dr. Grunson, who performed the autopsy, refused to send his blood or urine samples off to be tested. She said that it and I quote, is a waste of public money on a suicide. Cynthia, I guess I forget the state. I don't think it's Oregon or wherever it was. I guess per the state, they keep, it's their law that they keep urine and blood samples on file for at least 12 months. So Cynthia she finds this out. She requests that his blood and urine samples get sent off. But, like magic, like every fucking case out there, his urine and blood samples were either destroyed or lost.
Misplaced.
Cynthia also notes that it would have been literally impossible for Phil to hold a rubber hose with his left hand and roll it around his neck 3 times, because he had several missing fingers, and he also had limited shoulder rotation due to arthritis that had set in. There was a few key points here. There was no suicide note. And another thing that is weird, it was in Oregon. There was no coroner came out to his apartment after his body was found, which is against Oregon law. Phil not only was scheduled for another lecture tour that year, but he had a few easier ways of taking himself out. He had quite a few prescription drugs in the house, and he also had a 9mm handgun in the house. So, bluntly said, there are a lot easier ways.
And strangling yourself with your own catheter hose?
There you go.
It is so on par. I was going to do an episode on Max Spears, the conspiracy theorist that miraculously died as well, which I'm not going to go into a whole bunch because I still plan on doing an episode on it. But it is almost point for point mishandled the same way.
But it's funny with this because, like we're saying in Benowitz's story, that here you are now, you have 2 men talking about a base that supposedly doesn't fucking exist, and they both die under mysterious circumstances.
After being disinformation and made to look like
an idiot.
Yahoos.
Yeah. But you get a guy like Phil. Now, I could see people leaning more toward discrediting Benowitz because it was noted that later on Benowitz almost kind of started to succumb to mental shortcomings, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is, I mean, understandable when everybody's trying to make you out to be crazy.
And then they start on top of that, they start giving you quote unquote real shit. Like when you come home and you see that your house has been trashed.
Yeah.
When things are moved
when they're
around.
planting UFO evidence.
Right. And they're making you think that it's all 100% legit, whether it was or wasn't. is besides the point.
Yeah, that's definitely enough to make you go crazy.
Yeah. Or if 1 second they're, hey, you're talking to aliens, and then the next second they're like, wait a minute. No, you're not. You're not, bud.
Use this program to talk to the aliens.
Right. Like, there's so much back and forth there that makes you, it could very well start fucking with the way your brain starts to process information. So it's interesting to say the least.
No, because I didn't touch any of the deep underground military bases up to this point. Now that I'm finding maps and shit, I'm ready to go, dog.
I told you, there's a whole list of ones in Illinois. And the ones in Missouri, I don't think they're that far from us.
I'm just looking at the ones in goddamn Arizona.
Well, let's go. I don't give a shit. All we got to do is act dumb when we're out there.
Why is every ranch out west a fucking portal or a vortex?
I don't know.
Like, what in the hell is going on out there, guys? The Bradshaw Ranch.
I've heard of that.
I have too. Which is supposedly one. There are so many. If that map's correct, they all are connected.
Would it be that surprising?
Did you say something about Teos?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on there.
Well, there you go.
It's one of the marks that is linked.
And everybody's heard of the Denver airport.
Los Alamos. Carlsbad Caverns. It's also linked to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, that map doesn't go to
Area 51.
Missouri.
It's damn close.
Yeah, I know, it's right there.
All the Air Force bases are pretty close as well.
Ironically
That's
enough.
fucking weird, man.
Air Force bases could give
tube shuttle, underground nuclear test sites,
Yep.
nuclear weapons facility, uranium mining and milling.
The Air Force bases could give cover for the underground bases, because if people start seeing airplanes in the area, well, we got an Air Force base just right over the way. They're running test flights.
Riverton, yeah, look at the UFOs, the big UFO bases. Riverton, Area 51.
Which, when it comes to Area 51,
Denver
I
Airport.
totally believe that Area 51 is nothing anymore.
No, as soon as the words Area 51 left the public's mouth, they shipped everything the fuck out of there. Which could be anywhere at this point.
Yeah, but this is the journey that I went down when I was just going to try to focus on Phil's story, because I had heard the military fight with the Greys, and I could have swore I heard another story out there which I wasn't able to find, where I don't know, like during there was a base fight too, like where the aliens and the humans in the base started to not see things eye to eye anymore, and all hell broke loose.
That's like, and then Max Spears stuff. He talks about fighting interdimensional beings, 50,000 year wars that have been going on, that he was a soldier bred for. Awesome. I wasn't going to. I don't want to jump the gun. I want to put that one together good, but it is fucking nuts.
That's awesome. Fuck yeah. I wish a super soldier would call us, or someone like that dude.
Yeah.
Because that would be a fascinating conversation.
It would.
Could you imagine? Especially
this dude, like, I don't want to hijack the episode, but this dude was doing interviews up to 4 days before he
killed
died.
himself. Or whatever. Yeah, whatever.
This is better. It's natural causes.
Oh, of course it was. Why not?
When you guys hear about what his natural causes are, you'll be like, oh.
It's just, I don't know. Like, the whole world is fucking bizarre. Like, all this.
I was just talking to Kyle. We were talking about the state of the world and how everything's fucking crazy as hell. And I'm like, man, if we would have started this podcast when we were in a metal band, like in 2010, I don't think our lives would be nearly as crazy as starting a podcast in 2019.
No,
because we weren't 8 months in,
and it popped off,
and the pandemic hit, and then everything just goes. Then now there's disclosure, and there's all this shit. I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, it just, and I
wrap
feel
my
like
brain around it.
I feel like the new age has bred a lot more conspiracy theorists.
Oh yeah, you can't trust anything.
Nothing anymore. Absolutely nothing.
That's my whole hang up on this disclosure. Like, if we're not going to trust the government about anything else, why in the fuck are we going to trust what they're putting out about UFOs?
100%. Which 100%. And like you stated before, and I honestly I'm starting to believe it with this disclosure. This is a giant smoke and mirror to keep us off of something else.
Yeah, because...
And how much of that shit really goes on is another question, is how much of this breaking news is just a fucking diversion from what they're doing over here.
Oh, yeah, it's
which is infinitely worse than what's on the news.
That's the only reason media is media.
Yeah.
Is what's happening with the latest celebrity, or what's the sports team doing. That it's just to consume our brain, because that's like all.
Which would be more
into.
Another reason, like what you're going down is another reason why the news always focuses on tragedy versus good things, because people get stuck up and more emotional on tragedy than they do a heartwarming story.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's way more clicks.
Yeah, and it's way more distracting because people sit around and be like, man, did you hear what happened over there? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
People aren't gonna go, hey, did you see the little Girl Scouts with the cookies? Oh, wasn't that just cute? That was just adorable.
I didn't even dig into the conspiracy behind it, but it's weird that McAfee suicides himself, and it starts to pick up in the news, and then that condominium in Florida collapses.
That is fucking
the pedestrian
weird.
walk in DC collapses.
That is weird.
And now it's like those two things consume the news.
Dude, it's just like the more I learn about what we dive into, the more I hear shit, the more I listen to Tripoli and guys like him, because Tripoli's been on one. He's had some really important shit.
How many times have we gotten messages from people we don't fucking know that tell us, you guys are on to some bad shit?
Yeah.
But you're just close enough to be safe.
Yeah.
You're just scratching the surface, and they don't mind you scratching the surface.
Yeah, it's when you start.
So you get under the skin that they start watching.
Yeah,
those are terrifying words to me.
They are. I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm not gonna say it on air. So there's that. I'll put that out there. I'm not gonna say it on air. But I don't know. Like I don't know. Some of this shit dumbfounds me to the point that I can't even explain. Other facets of it is not surprising. And like I've always believed this, but I am 100% solidified to almost never trust the red team or the blue team or anybody with .gov behind their shit. I'm sorry. Like you can hold it to whatever credence you want, but I will never buy what they have to say.
That's like where I kind of am. Either you have to, you cannot be in the gray. You cannot have a gray area. You can't trust them on some things.
No.
And then call them out as lying on others.
No.
You know, like either you are 100% behind them. Everything they say and do is the truth, or it isn't.
I would have to say probably about 95% of what they say is probably bullshit.
Yeah, just to appease everyone.
And that's where
just to try to keep everybody.
That's where I'm at with it, bro. Like these motherfuckers look at it like a job. So if you got a complaint at Taco Bell, 99% of the time the manager is not going to come out here and go, "Hey, you fucking idiot! Why don't you get the fuck out of my store?" They're going to be like, "Hey, sir, what can we do to make this right? You know, I can give you this, this, and this to make your experience more enjoyable." So that's what the government's going to do. They're going to tell us what we want to hear so we stay off the fucking path.
Yeah.
And then not to mention you're dealing with some of the wealthiest people in the fucking country. And you think for a second that you're going to do anything to fuck up their paycheck? Yeah, right. Get out of here. They're going to do what they have to do. They're going to run their little backwards deals. And if you don't believe it, go look into it. Go dig. Because you're going to find, and this should be the problem number one with all of this. is whenever motherfuckers can come in there with money and influence the way a law goes or a bill goes, right then and there. Psh, done.
Yeah.
Done. Game over. See the fuck later. There's going to be no truth or honesty because it's money. Not many people are going to turn down $5 million or this, that, or the other. Just the way it is. So, going back to that, I don't trust anybody, especially when it's .gov. Sorry, not happening. Just won't, man. Can't be done. And then look at poor Phil here. He strangled himself with his catheter. Could you imagine ripping your own catheter? Like, how mad at the world do you have to be?
No,
rip out your catheter.
I was thinking about it, and I'm hoping that didn't go that way. Maybe there was just an extra tube, like some extra cord. He just
no. I'm thinking it's
if he was killed, somebody would be pulling on that shit to wrap it around your throat.
That
so it'd be
sucks.
even worse. At that point, it'd be like, just do it, dog.
That
I'm not even gonna struggle. Be gentle. Go for it.
I'd be like, dude, fucking just give me my gun. I'll do it myself. Don't strangle me with my own catheter. Do you know how dehumanizing that is?
Yeah.
That is horrible. But assuming the poor guy did it himself, imagine ripping your own catheter out and going, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with this world. I'm done with everything in it. Fuck my lectures. Fuck all of this stuff. I'm just yanking my catheter out and I'm going to choke myself to death. It's the worst idea ever.
No.
Worst idea. I think he was killed without question. And I think through all this, whether all that's going on at Dulce or not, we'll never know. But I do think,
Unless we go there.
I do think there is something going on in Dulce.
Yeah,
I would say
I think
odds
it spreads
are,
way further than Dulce.
Oh, for sure. Odds are there probably is some type of military installment there.
And we're not condoning any of you to go and hunt down these places like in Munns Park, but if you are close and you want to go check it out and you want to let us know, we won't be mad at you.
Yeah, and then
Just do it safely.
yes, that's what I was getting ready to say. In our little famous quote, stay safe, stay weird.
Yeah.
First thing there is stay safe. Don't do anything stupid.
Yeah. Leave that to us.
I was just getting ready to say that. That's our job.
We'll get some cameras and we'll go break into the military bases.
Oh, shit, that would be scary as fuck.
Yeah, we won't do that.
I was going to say, we don't have the manpower for that.
No.
We almost had enough to storm Area 51 at one point.
Oh, yeah, our luck. We finally get into Dulce and we end up in the fucking nightmare realm.
That's what I'm saying.
Be like, bro, I found a door unlocked. Let's go.
Of all places to break into, why are you trying to... Why would you want to break into that one? I'm not going somewhere where they're putting octopuses on you. They're turning you into a half octopus. It's not happening. They're like...
Kyle hates the water anyway.
Yeah, they're like, Kyle,
his
watch
ultimate
this.
fear.
They rip your arm off, and then they just super glue an octopus to where your arm was.
What if they're making your ultimate enemy and it's just half gray, half ocean creatures?
Oh, fucking suck. I might have to Paul Benowitz or Phil Schnieders myself, rip my own catheter out, just choke myself. Fuck that, dude. That'd be terrifying. You see this stupid little gray head with an octopus body. That's what I'm saying.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, we've been jabbing.
Thanks for hanging out with us. I know we kind of went on a bunch of different tangents.
Apologize, but hey, it's fun.
That's what we do.
It's fun and games.
It's our show. We do what we want.
Until somebody gets probed.
Accurate. So, check us out at all our social medias: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Come and hang out. Until next time, stay safe, stay weird, and if you're gonna go check out some of these dumbs, do it from afar. Take some pictures, send them to us, and if you want to send us some physical mail, send it to P.O. Box 145, Fieldon, Illinois, Holosky Podcast 62031.
They said it would be too hard to earn a degree while working full-time, but WGU offers flexible degree programs that I was able to finish on my time. There are no set login times, and better yet, courses and tests are all online and 100% whenever you want to do them. To learn more about how you can get your degree in IT, business, education, or healthcare, visit wgu.edu today.